There was a moment during yesterday's congressional hearing on anti-Semitism when I was asked if a call for the genocide of Jewish people on our campus would violate our policies. In that moment, I was focused on our university's longstanding policies aligned with the US Constitution, which say that speech alone is not punishable. I was not focused on, but I should have been, the irrefutable fact that a call for genocide of Jewish people is a call for some of the most terrible violence human beings can perpetrate.
We are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry.
You undoubtedly saw over the past couple of days these super rich, super woke university presidents, these three women, one from MIT, one from Harvard, and I think one from UPenn, going in front of Congress and saying, calling for the systematic removal of an entire race of people, that's probably okay, as opposed to saying it violates any kind of code of conduct policies. Now, from a First Amendment perspective, I understand this pushes that First Amendment to its limit, but it is still protected speech. The problem is, at these universities, they are kicking the same kids out for misgendering somebody. This is a clear double standard, colored by ultra woke leftoids, quite frankly, very radical political positions. I've tried to stay out of this because a lot of you guys say, hey, don't talk about it. So this isn't really about the conflict. It's about these woke millionaire presidents getting woke and going broke. So they go in front of this committee and they're basically asking like, hey, if your students are running around chanting, systematically remove the Jews, okay? If they're calling for that, is that a violation of code of conduct, your students' code of conduct? And all three of these women, who all make, many millions per year, guaranteed, said, no, it's not. They tried to hide behind, it depends on context, blah, 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 blah. Look, you want to say it? You have a right to say it in this country. The question is, when you're at a university and you're on scholarship or you're on this or that, and, you are chanting it, especially, in front of other, in front of that group of students, a group of those people, is that probably not okay? And all three of them said it was fine. Well, it did not go quite as good as they had hoped. They thought they could go and say, oh, well, it's the context. Well, now they're all groveling for their jobs. They thought they were so smart, right? University of Penn president issues groveling video following congressional anti-Semitism hearing, blames university policies. If they had said any other group than Jewish, if they've been calling for the removal of black people, don't you think those students would have been punished? I think we know they would have been. If they were calling for the removal of LGBTQ people or Latino people, I think we all know that the university would have kicked them out. Now, again, it's either all okay, but to borrow a phrase from a fallen YouTuber, a fallen hero of many, it's either all okay or none of it's okay. And we know that it's not that case. We know that people will be selectively banned. In a video posted to the Ivy League's website on Wednesday, she tried to explain her failure by saying that she was not focused on the issue and said that she wanted to be clear that calls for this genocide were evil, plain and simple. Well, she never said that. I don't buy this BS, because when this broad sat up in front of Congress, sorry, ladies, when this woman sat in front of Congress and smirked and refused to say whether or not that exact same thing constituted a violation of, whatever their harassment policies were, she said no. And so did President Gay from Harvard and the other lady. They all said no. And then they got home and they found out, oopsie doopsie poopsie. Guess those, they have quite a few Jewish donors at these schools. Let's put it that way. Quite a few Jewish people on their boards. I think they should all be fired. You know why? Because I know, not because they said, it's not because they tried to protect their students' First Amendment rights. It's because I know for a fact they would not have protected students' First Amendment rights if they were saying that about black people, or if they were saying that about gay people. If there are a bunch of religious students marching in the quad saying that being gay is a sin and you're going to hell, and screaming it in the face and showing up in front of the LGBTQ club and doing that, they would all be gone. All of them. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. So because that is true, then all three of these women should be fired. Because they have not shown the propensity to stand up for students' First Amendment rights, in particular conservative students. There's been innumerable cases where pro-life students are allowed to be harassed, physically attacked, and more at these same universities. All right? This lady smirking and laughing at Congress, when they asked that question, you should be fired. And now look at University Penn Board of Trustees hold emergency meeting as President Elizabeth McGill faces call to resign from donors and students after unacceptable statements at congressional hearings. I don't think this groveling apology shouldn't get her out of it, because we know what she really meant. We know what she really meant. Here's Harvard. You have a sign flying over it. It looks like a Palestinian flag. It says Harvard hates Jews. The Harvard Crimson wrote this article. Harvard President Gay traveled to Washington to quell the backlash. Her testimony only made it worse. Everybody wants him gone. And then you had Bill Ackman, who's like a multi-million dollar donator, claims that the Harvard president, Claudine Gay, was only appointed because of diversity, equity, and inclusion after her shameful refusal to denounce campus protests calling for genocide. Now, again, I think that you should be able to have a campus protest. You want to do all those cringe die-ins where you're laying all over the ground and you post it to your TikToks? I think that's fine, right? That's totally fine. If you want to be pro-Palestine, cool. You want to be pro-Israel? Cool. All right. You want to get together and make signs? Cool. But when you're marching around and they're saying, I'm not sure what the exact term was, is intifada or something like that, chanting these terms, I don't think that, maybe they're so stupid they don't know what they're saying. But to be the president of these universities and be in there and be like, well, actually, it's the context. There was one of these broads issued her video apology to Twitter and then turned off replies. And it literally said something about, free speech. Like, oh, free speech is important, but, I'm not going to let people reply to my groveling apology. And why wouldn't they grovelly apologize? I don't know what it is, or if I assume it's public. Harvard president salary. About $1 million a year. No, average salary at president and fellows of Harvard College. No, it's more than that. It's in the millions. It's in the millions. The last Harvard president earned $1.3 million. An old white guy. So I suspect the black woman got more than that. So she makes over $1 million a year and she's going to be gone. She gone. I mean, like, you have this Jewish woman is berated by smirking California coffee shop staff after complaining about anti-Semitic graffiti in the restroom that says Zionism equals fascism and your neutrality is enabling like, why are Americans, why do white Americans who aren't Israeli or Palestinian, why are they so involved? Why are they like, just make your stupid coffee, you idiot. Oh, an overweight girl with blue hair. I'm shocked. Look at them, these coffee workers. I'm shocked they look like this. It's like, if it was a clip art of like degenerate liberals, it would be that picture. And by the way, they're happy. They can put that up. They can put that in there. They can put that in their coffee shop. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. They can do that. It's like, don't expect Jewish people to go there then, or their friends, and then you don't get to whine about that. And that's fine. All of these women, I don't know if the Harvard University did put this out. And they got brutally fact-checked. That's the one I wanted to pull up, which is great. Harvard University put out this statement here. Statement from President Gay. There have been some who have confused the right for free expression with the idea that Harvard will condone calls for bad behavior against Jewish students. Let me be clear. Calls for this kind of stuff against a Jewish community or religious or ethnic group are vile and have no place at Harvard, or those who would threaten our students will be held to account. You were given days to prepare to say things like this on camera in Congress yesterday, yet you condoned the calls on your campus that says everything we need to know. We saw the video. You're disgusting. It looks like there was a community note on it as well. At a congressional hearing yesterday, President Gray, I think it's Gay, that's why they got rid of it, it's misspelled, refused to say whether or not calling it was a violation of code of conduct. The point of this is to not get everybody arguing about Israel and Palestine. My point is, if you had said these things about trans people or about black people or about Asians, maybe not Asians at Harvard, to be honest with you. That's a joke, but also serious. If you had said this thing about gay people or trans people or non-binary people or black people, your life would be over. You get to say it about Jews because at this university, these presidents secretly agree with it. I mean, that's what it would appear. They're only now saying anything about it because they're probably told that you're going to get fired. Too many big donors with deep pockets have had enough of it. And I couldn't be bothered to shed a tear. I'm sure some other university will hire these idiots. They always do.